YouTube, welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. Today's going to be a quick video. We're just going over my Logitech settings and my F124 camera settings. I do have a couple times that are within top 1,000 of the world, top 5%, and I also have a couple times that are within top 4%. I will show proof on screen now, so hopefully you guys know that I am legit as well. And also just take these for your own assistance and your own, take them with a grain of salt because everyone's opinion and feeling is different. So we're going to jump into the controls real quick. Uh, I personally use hold on the ERS mode. Some people prefer toggle. Again, that is just truly based upon your opinion. I have the MFD on default, vibration on for controller. I do not use a controller, so that's dependent on if you could use a controller or not. Adaptive triggers also for controller. I do not use a controller. And then I also have my Logitech True Force intensity on 100. I've tried turning it down. I've tried turning it up. I think this is the best setting. It's just default from what the game says. So this is where I've found the most time and the most comfort. On to the actual Logitech settings. Now I do have this 5 uh, input on the throttle dead zone. That is because my throttle decide it will randomly start driving whenever it wants to because I've had my Logitech's gear for so long. I did do that just so that way it does not drive without itself. On my steering rate on 100%, I haven't changed this at all. I have tried lowering it, but I do not like it. Feels way understeery if you try lowering it, at least in my opinion. And then I have the brake linearity on 20 just to make the brake pressure at the end of the brake feel a little bit more real than what it does on the Logitech naturally. Then for vibration, I do have it cranked up pretty high, but it's mostly just to get actual feel from the wheel. We're running 120 on the force feedback strength. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I've been running pretty high values in all the F1 games ever since I started. Pretty much anything above 90 in all the F1 games. This is where I found the most comfort. I've tried turning it down. I've tried turning it up. I've turned everything else to 0 just to avoid random feel within the wheel to try and get the most comfort through the laps as I'm driving. And then for my wheel rotation on G Hub and on the game, I have 400 degrees. I've used to use 360 last year, and I've tried turning it down to 360. I've tried 270. I think 400 is the best for me this year. I might try turning it down later on after a couple patches or after a couple weeks or months into the game, but this is what we're running for right now. We'll go to graphic settings real quick. I'm running medium on everything, 60 frames per second. I do know that 45 frames is the fastest quad camera, regardless of what team or what driver or what car we're in. So I use the TV pod camera. I think it's the best camera in my opinion. I don't use any of the other ones, as you can see. I go with -7 on the field of view just to kind of break down the range that you can see and to keep the mirrors in range. 0 on the lateral, 10 on the horizontal just to add a little bit front facing so that way I can see the front wing of the car. 8 on the vertical as well for the same reason. -20 on the angle so that way you can see the front wing of the car. -20 on the air clip plane. Mirror angle, that's personal preference again. That's some people run -5, some people run anywhere from -5 to -7. It's just personal preference. I run -7 personally. And then camera shake and camera movement both on 0. No matter who you are, I recommend turning both of these completely off because you don't want the camera bouncing around while you're trying to race, and it's not it's not a good way to keep consistency, especially camera movement, because when you're pressing the brake pedal, you'll have the camera go forward, and then obviously you know what will happen if you press the gas. For assists, I don't use any assists besides corners only racing line. I do plan on turning that off this year, but assist is just personal preference. So drive with whatever you feel comfortable with, and then as you go on, try and turn a couple assists off. Maybe see how comfortable you feel. In terms of on-screen display, this will be the last one that we do. I keep it in kph. We don't use mph because everyone else uses kph. It's just easier to track where we're going. Also the same for the Celsius. I keep it in Celsius because that's what everyone else does their measurements in, so it's easiest for me to keep it in Celsius. Full track map, I do recommend that for anybody. This is for pit strategy, for when you see people coming out of the pit lane, you can see people entering the pit lanes. It helps a lot. Of course, once you get more comfortable. Delta time, I turn this on. Keep track of my faster laps. Proximity arrows, always recommend turning these on. These are the white and red arrows that come up when you're racing in single player or online. Driver tags, sometimes I'll turn these off, sometimes I keep them on. It really just depends on the race. Uh, it's just a driver name that shows above their car. So whether you're racing online, it'll say their online name, or if you're racing single player, it'll say like Charles Leclerc. Start lights, keep these on just because they come up at the start of the race. You don't have to, if you're starting at the back of the grid, you don't have to look down the grid to try and find the grid lights. Again, that's just personal preference. Virtual rear view mirror. This personal preference. I usually turn it on for the races. Unfortunately, my on-screen display customization doesn't work for time trial for whatever reason, so I usually turn it off for time trials, but just personal preference again. And then permanent session timer, I recommend turning this on. So that way, whether you're in a practice session or qualifying session, even while you're on the track, you know exactly how much time is left. So if you mess up on your lap or wing damage or invalidate, you'll know how much time you have to get back to the pits and come back out. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. That's going to be it for us. The only other thing that we could really check is audio settings, and that's insanely personal, so it's really just up to you guys. That's going to be it for us. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any recommendations, please put them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. Try and help us get to 300 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. I do appreciate you guys tuning in, and that'll be it for us. Peace.